Hello, I'm Murray Herbst, Director of Entrepreneurship for UTS. We have a program called UTS Startups that is all about inspiring and supporting technology-enabled entrepreneurs. You're watching the UTS Startups channel. On this channel, you're going to see entrepreneurs talking about what they do. You're going to see people giving tips that have worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, and you'll see workshops from different parts of UTS that are relevant to new entrepreneurs. If that sounds cool, hit subscribe and check out more of this content. But this is kind of cool. So, Aaron, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
I am deliberately not going to share much about what you're doing because I want people watching to go on this journey that is an early journey of kind of entrepreneurship in progress, whatever. But it's like really cool. The story here is really interesting. And I think hearing the true story behind how people are starting things is wonderful for people to understand what they could be doing with their own problems and things that they see around the place. So I'm going to kick off. Could you tell me, please, who were you before thinking about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, great question. So you might not be able to tell right now, but a few years ago, I weighed 30 kilos heavier, struggled deeply with depression. Ironically, I studied a psychology degree to fix myself, but I guess it wasn't until I started seeking professional help and support that I was able to take control of my health. Fast forward to today, I live a truly grateful life and thankful for everything that I've been part of. So that was a little bit about me, and that's really why I started my Walkabout with my co-founder, Ben.
Okay, so take me back there for a second, to the extent you're willing. So that's incredible. Like, how did you get from there to here personally? Like, what were the enablers that enabled that kind of progress?
Yeah, I fell really within a depressive state. I guess when I was younger, I wasn't dealing with a lot of the things that I should have been dealing with properly. I was doing a lot of partying and avoiding things. I was eating a lot, and hence fell into that obese category. And then I really wanted to take a change. There was a point, I think I went to the doctor one day, and they found a tumor. Thankfully, it was benign. Is that the word? Benign is the non-cancerous one, right? So fortunate. I was very fortunate that it wasn't anything more serious than what it was. And I was like, hey, I was only like 23, 24 at the time, and I was like, I really need to take control of my health. Like, what's going on? I wasn't always like this growing up. I was playing a lot of basketball, doing a lot of sports, doing a lot of running, and I was really fit, but fell into that state when I was younger. And really not avoiding those things. And so when I fell into that was my wake-up call, and got myself into the gym, and I lived there almost, and ran a lot, and took care of my health, and I was able to, and I was really fortunate. I was in an environment where I was able to change that. I lost all the weight. I ran a bunch of marathons. Last year I ran an ultra marathon for 50 kilometers, and that was from Bondi to Rousey in the middle of COVID, and we raised a bunch of money for Headspace, which is the National Youth Foundation for Mental Health within Australia. It raised almost $6,000, which is really cool. And so able to turn those things around, which was awesome, and be able to give back. But yeah, so I lost all that weight, and I was still really unhappy. And I was like, what's going on? Like, okay, I should be happy, right? But I was still depressed, and it wasn't until I started seeking, therapy, breaking a lot of the narratives in my mind around, things that I was thinking about, conditionings, of course, and able to break through that I was able to get onto the other side and do the work, the mental work and the work that I needed to get better. And at the start of this year, I went to my last ever therapy session. My therapist was like, you don't need to come anymore. And it was really cool. Not that that was ever a goal, because I thought, therapy was something that would always be a part of my life, because it's a great tool and resource for everybody. But yeah, I was able to get that news, and yeah, that's brought me, I guess, to where I am today.
Okay, that's incredible, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this are thinking about that deeply. Would you say the exercise portion Like there's obviously a lot of help available, and it's easy to find help for people that need it, but why did you not seek out the help? Why was exercise a conduit into help for yourself?
I think a lot of people struggle with this, is speaking about, needing to see help is weak. I mean that's the general stigma, that's the concept, and not being able to access therapy when it's probably what you need the most is really tough for people to accept, and myself included. I was always like, I want to do it for myself. I don't need the help. I can do it. Like, what for? Like, I'll get through this. But that's kind of not the best mentality to take care of yourself, because you end up piling more on top of yourself, and it's not until you start speaking about it that it becomes a bit more of a strength, and you don't carry it as much. People are able to carry it with you, not for you, but with you, which is, I think, an important distinction as well.
Okay, so did the exercise kind of help give that confidence to go out and seek the help?
Yeah, well, it just gave me more confidence within myself. I think it was something I always had, but I fell within those couple of years really to my own vices, and I was beating myself up a lot, and so doing the exercise gave me a lot more confidence, to believe in myself, and then to seek the support. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm asking this because I know where you ended up with this pursuit, but that worked out for yourself. What about for all the other people out there, billions of people out there that need this kind of help? How can they have that kind of journey that you had?
Yeah, we will, and that's what we're trying to solve within my Walkabout, I suppose, is the lack of holistic solutions for both obesity and depression. We found within our research, having one presents an increased risk of developing the other. In Australia, nearly 1 in 2 Australians experience a mental health disorder within their lifetime. About 1 million Australians have had depression, and 2 out of 3 Australians have been categorized as being overweight or being obese. And so we're really trying to find that solve for people who fall within both categories or one, and be a preventer for falling into the other.
Okay, but there's kind of Strava, kind of fitness apps of different kinds, or mental health apps of different kinds. How are you different in framing this and making it accessible?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I think for us is with an app like Strava, for example, it's a great community that's online, but it's for elite athletes. There's nothing for the everyday Australian, which I like to call myself the everyday Australian. I think we all are, and like with Strava and those apps, which are great, we want to create a platform where anybody can walk, and especially within the target that we're trying to tackle. When you are obese, when you are depressed, you don't want to hang out with anybody. You don't want to, for the most part, get out and walk. And so we wanted to create a platform that's able to help that community and bring us together.
Okay, this is cool. I'm going to step back for a second though. Like, I know you're working at a bank. What was the catalyzing moment to transform this as something you are thinking about in the back of your mind into something that you actually are now doing?
Yeah, so working at a bank, there's actually a challenge that was at work, and it was a competition, I suppose, to ask people how they can innovate travel to work. And so I came up with an idea where if you walk, you can be incentivized by unlocking rewards or a discount off your healthy salad or your juice when you get into the office, and that would in turn take out cars off the road and provide people a healthy outlet to get to work. And I submitted that idea, and I won a bicycle off the back of that. And so that was the initial seed of the My Walkabout idea.
Man, there are so many companies that have been started. Some of the other interviews that we've done of people that just enter a contest, like one of our other interviewees got rather drunk on a night and just put in an idea for fun, and then won and was like, okay, I need to do this now. It's nice.
That.
Yeah, it's nice to have that kind of validation and just like something I think trips in people to make them think, okay, this is worth considering further. It gives you the confidence that you might not otherwise have. You have a co-founder on this.
Yes.
Yeah? How did you kind of bring a co-founder into it?
Yeah, so my co-founder Ben, he works at the bank as well, and we'd have coffee all the time, and I guess he had seen my growth. He'd saw me 30 kilos heavier and depressed. I suppose we'd been in a similar team and we're working together, and we'd have coffee all the time. And then he actually had started a startup of his own. It didn't work so well, but he's a go-getter. If I'm more of the visionary, he is somebody who puts all the governance and makes sure it's all practical and feasible and puts me back to ground, make sure this actually works. So that's Ben, and yeah, we would have coffee all the time, and he'd see me, and then I told him about the bike that I won, and he's like, hey, we should turn this into an actual business. And I was like, sure, let's give it a go. COVID happened, and then we were stuck at home. There's nothing else to do, and so we would Zoom all the time and have coffee there. And then saw UTS Startups. We applied through that, and another co-founder, his brother, is studying law at UTS, and so we're able to get through to UTS Startups and being part of the community and learning from everybody there, which has been wonderful.
Can I ask a selfish question, just because you brought it up? How did kind of being accepted through that process change your thinking about what you're doing as well?
Well, similar to, I guess, the gym stuff, it gave me a little bit more confidence. It gave like a little bit of validation. It was like the competition, I suppose, in a sense, throughout all those pieces. It was like, hey, somebody else believes in us. It's not just us now. And so having that support behind us, having access to a wealth of resources and people was really helpful. And that opened so many pathways and things that were similar to, I guess, the therapy. It was like narratives that we created of, we could only do it this way, or we could do it this way, and then being exposed to such a great community opened the whole world.
So a couple of different things happening to kind of give you confidence in it, and then that confidence being something that other people see and jump on board with as well.
Yeah, I guess it's just a game. I'm trying to pick up more confidence in life and move on to the next thing.
Well, it's such a worthwhile problem to solve. Like, there's got to be people watching that are hearing this going, yeah, there's a need for this in the world. It's not being done well. Someone needs to be making something where exercise is accessible, and that leads to kind of mental health improvements and also access to mental health resources and other things that people wouldn't otherwise access. Who wouldn't want to be part of that? That sounds incredible.
Yeah, we'd love for people and partners to get more of our learning. We'd like to grow more as a community so that we can get people and partners to understand what we're doing, understand what we're trying to solve, and especially within the target audience that we're tackling with obesity and depression. It's not easy to say that you're obese or depressed, and that's, I guess, an immediate problem that we're trying to figure out right now, is how do we get more people within our community that fit within that category? How do we help you? And that's where we are. We've got a very small online community. Ben and I are both non-technical founders, so we've created a Facebook group, and we've used Instagram and social media to get more people into that. But yeah, we'd love to learn from people out there that can help grow us, and so that we can help and target that group.
Okay, so that kind of brings me to, I love the technology behind entrepreneurship at the moment, the enabling things that are helping people to do stuff they couldn't do before. What kind of technologies are you using to get this off the ground?
Yeah, so Ben and I, both non-technical founders, we patched together a bunch of different tools. We're looking into no-code platforms like Bubble.io and Adalo, which are really cool, that are out there. We've patched together a prototype on Adobe XD where we just made a bunch of screens and showed a bunch of people with focus groups and surveys that we built on Google Forms. So just using technology like that we can still get data points and understand the nuances of what we're trying to create, and hopefully that builds a path for what we're hoping to achieve.
Sorry, I love that, because we see this a lot. Like people walk in and say, I'm a non-technical co-founder, but I'm using Airtable and Zapier and Bubble and all these other technologies to create like an app and a backend and all the systems behind it in a way that like I coded for 20 years and like my coding skills are mostly useless now. So it's fine. So this is moving along. For everyone that is watching, if you could have anything right now to help it move faster, what would it be? What do you need?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. Like, I suppose we'd love to, understand how we can help our target audience a little bit more specifically, that obese and depressed category of people. And so understanding where we can tap into those groups or ecosystems that are already tackling that problem and help them and partner with them. Also love to speak to non-technical co-founders as well and pick your brain around how we build this or how do we scale and how do we learn more. And anybody that's like in that same bubble, I suppose, of like trying to, so Ben and I both work full-time at a bank. Shouldn't say which bank. You can find me on LinkedIn and figure that out, but I won't say it for this interview. But trying to figure that out. And, we both have worked, we both work jobs that like from 9 to 5 or 6, and then I'll go to the gym and, take care of myself and have dinner. And then we'll jump on a Zoom call from like 9 to 11 or 12 every night, just trying to figure this out and do it on the weekends. So how do we do that? And I'd love to hear from, any experiences that can really shape that for us as well. Really cool. I'm sure a lot of people face that problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we live in Sydney. You can't just jump out of a job and just put everything into a startup straight away, or 99% of people can't. Yeah. So a slow transition, I think, makes sense. I'll add on one more question if I can. For the people that are watching that are thinking about entrepreneurship, how has doing this changed yourself?
Yeah, really, really great question. I think, especially if I'm looking at, the things that I've done, like, finished high school, finished uni, worked at a bank. It's given me a lot of, structure and a framework to play in. But I think with entrepreneurship, it's really difficult. It's really hard. There's no guardrails. There's a lot of wonderful people that can help you, but it's a really difficult world to navigate. But in itself is a really rewarding pursuit. And I think that has really changed me in letting go of, the things that are comfortable and in growing in a place that's really uncomfortable. But I've enjoyed every little bit.
Okay, so terrifying but good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Go for it. Yeah, you just got to go for it. I think that's what it's taught me. And own that confidence. That confidence is in there, like for most of us, but I think it's just, owning it and seeing that it's within yourself and just bringing that to life.
Okay, cool. We're going to end there because that's perfect. It's not going to get better from there. I'm just going to say head to mywalkabout.com.au for more information and to get in contact. And I'll just say, if this video has helped you in your own consideration of entrepreneurship, just hit like so we know we can do more content like this. If you want to see more content like this, hit subscribe. And thank you so much, man. I
appreciate it.
This is incredible, and I think it's going to help a lot of people, and hopefully with some help from the audience as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we hope so. Thank you so much. See you guys.
See you.